We certainly did. We were in the reception of the hotel when we saw a delegation arrive, and it turned out to be Faz Hamid, the Pakistani spy chief, possibly the most important man in Afghanistan because the ISI, his organization, has been instrumental in backing the Taliban. Will you be meeting senior people in the Taliban?
No, I'm not clear. He may be able to arrange that.
What do you hope will come out of this, what do you hope is going to happen now in Afghanistan? What is your best hope?
I have just landed and...
we are working for peace and stability in Afghanistan.
Don't worry. Everything will be okay.
Well, I didn't get a lot out of him, but we understand from Taliban sources that he is here to mediate between the Taliban. They have not yet managed to form a government, and we understand that that's because of all the different factions from different parts of the country. They can't agree, and he's here to try and sort it out between them. You know, in the end, they're politicians like anywhere in the world. Each of the factions wants their own ministry.
And yesterday, Lindsay, you were in Pakistan and you had a pretty epic journey through to Kabul.
We certainly did. It took 16 hours in all. After we crossed the border, we saw the Taliban, obviously, with their white flags with the black writing. They ushered us into a room, and there we were. Were we entertained or were we detained? I'm not quite sure. They gave us lunch. They said they'd give us an escort. In the end, that didn't materialize, and after about 4 hours, we were allowed to leave. Then we were delayed by a mudslide across the road. And then as we entered Kabul, after dark, great volleys of gunfire. Now, this was celebratory shooting. The Taliban thought that they had captured the Panjshir Valley, the last pocket of resistance. In fact, they hadn't. It's still holding out. And as you mentioned, several people were killed. And then as we drove up towards the hotel, we saw young Talibs on the street in a circle, dancing to music, celebrating. Dancing, music. That is supposed to be haram, forbidden by this strict form of Islam that the Taliban follow.
And I wonder, what do you make of what you've seen on the streets of Kabul today?
Well, as when I was here in May, gridlock of cars, streets were full. There were many people, yes, mainly men, but some women dressed as I dressed, in a long robe and with, you know, a hijab, but not covering the face. There were some women out, though, protesting. We didn't see them ourselves, others filmed them. Protesting because they are no longer allowed to take part in public life. They can't be politicians, for example. And the Taliban did put this protest down. They used tear gas, apparently, and some of the women say they were beaten. And there have been several protests like this. This is the new normal, you could say, in Kabul. But as one person I spoke to today said, this is normal, but normal without freedom.